plan on getting all cute and ready for this video, this story time of my labor, but this is my reality. This is what I look like on the daily, and if you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. So I got induced on a Sunday at like 11 p.m. When I got induced, it took a while to get in, and then when I finally got a room, they checked me. They did the first check. I was 2 centimeters already. Mind you, I was induced at 37 weeks on the dot because she was growth restricted, so they wanted her out. Jeez, at least put my hair down, because gosh, it's just embarrassing. Boom, they take me to the room. They checked me. I'm 2 centimeters. And then I think they checked me again in the morning, and I was still 2 centimeters. So they want to start Pitocin, and I'm like, no, I don't want Pitocin, just break my water. And they're like, we can't break your water until you are at least 4 centimeters. And I'm like, well, I need the doctor to come and tell me that. So the doctor comes and she's like, you really don't want Pitocin? I was like, no. She's like, okay, well, we're gonna check you again in a couple hours, and if you're dilated enough, we'll break your water. Start walking around the hospital. This is all Monday. I start walking around the hospital, and I'm able to dilate by myself with no help, except that thing that they put like this tampon up you, and it softens your cervix. That's the only thing I had at this point. So I labor by myself all of Monday, and I get to 4 centimeters by myself.
Los frijoles, ¿sí? Así mismo. Dice que le tiemblan las piernas.
She checks me. She's like, you're 4 centimeters. We're gonna start Pitocin. I was like, what? But I was so out of it already. I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna argue. I didn't want Pitocin because I had a feeling it wasn't gonna do nothing. And I was right. I got Pitocin at 6 p.m. They checked me again at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. And then at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, I was literally only 5 centimeters dilated. So the doctor came in, broke my water. When they broke my water and I started feeling those contractions, oh my gosh, I said, give me epidural. At this point, I hadn't had no pain medication at all. Those contractions before your water breaks are play contractions. They're fake. Those are nothing compared to the real thing. I said, give me epidural. Mind you, they already had the epidural cart in there because I was like, in case I need it, I want it right there, ready. The anesthesiologist was busy, of course. She was in a surgery, in a C-section. So I'm like, no, and I'm going through these contractions, and they're horrible. My room just sounded like a crime scene. It was horrible. So the anesthesiologist gets in there, finally, and I tell her, she's like, do you have any back problems? I'm like, I have lumbar scoliosis. I didn't know how accurate it is because that's what they told me when I was like 10 years old. And she's like, okay. So she's trying to do the epidural. I'm going through these horrible contractions. This is within an hour of me getting my water broken still. So it hadn't even been an hour. So she injects my spine, and she's pushing saline, and it's it's pushing back. My back is just not accepting it. So she's literally telling me, I don't think this is gonna work. And I'm just like, no. no. If I'm only 5 centimeters, I don't know how I'm going to do this for another couple hours. I don't know how I'm gonna take this pain with no medicine. My doctor didn't like the laughing gas thing. I'm very high resistance, and I told the anesthesiologist that. She had to poke me, I think twice, to numb the area because my body's very resistant. So they gave me the fentanyl shot, but they gave me less than the dosage, and that didn't do anything to me. So at that point, that's all I had. My only choice was the fentanyl, and I didn't want to do any more of that, so I didn't. And the epidural wasn't working, so she's telling me, I'm gonna take it out and try higher up in your back. And I'm like, okay. When she says that, I look at my nurse in front of me holding my hands. I look at my nurse, and I'm like, I have to push. She's like, no you don't. I'm like, yes I do. I don't know if I have to poop. I don't know if I have, she's coming out, like I don't know what, but I'm pushing. And she's like, no, don't push. I'm like, I'm pushing. Like, please, you're not gonna tell me to not push. So I started pushing. Needle was still in my back, like everything was still in my back. This anesthesiologist was working on doing my epidural. Nobody was in the room but the anesthesiologist and my nurse, and my aunt was getting dressed because she had just showered, and she came out right on time. I throw myself sideways because I can't lay on my back. While the anesthesiologist is taking everything, the nurse like just goes like this down there, and she's like, oh yeah, I feel her head, and pushes a red button, and everybody just rushes in the room. And I promise you, she was out in less than 5 minutes. So I went from 5 to 10 centimeters in less than an hour. I didn't get to get epidural. I just screamed her out. I'm gonna show you.
Baby's coming no matter what. Hey, now, listen. You need to come down. Come down.
Yes, you can. Don't show your baby. You have to push.
Exorcism. Mind you, the door is wide open. The door to the room. They didn't even get a chance to close the door. I had the net on my head from the epidural. The bed was up. I was at the head of the bed. You know how usually people are like down on the bed, they have their legs up? No. I had nurses holding my legs, screaming because I kid you not. When they tell you what it feels like, it's not what it feels like. This felt like the best of my life. Like my organs was gonna come out my it was horrible. It was horrible. At that point I wanted a C-section. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. They're like, push, bend your legs. I'm like, no, I'm not bending my legs. So I gave birth with one leg straight, one leg bent, sideways. She came out. The doctor was like next to me, not even under me. And yeah, and she came out. She was perfectly healthy. I did get to cut her umbilical cord. That was beautiful. Let me see if I can show y'all. Just a glimpse of that. I'm so happy I got to do that. That moment for me was very special. I did get a 2nd-degree tear. I don't even know what that means until I googled it the other day. Not pretty. And I healed very well. I showered right after I gave birth. Yeah, and that was my labor experience. It was wild. A 10 out of 10 would not recommend. Next time, I say next time, I would definitely get the epidural. I'm very happy with my labor experience. I didn't allow any visitors. I only had one person there. We got discharged the next day after she was born. Everything was just perfect. They left me alone with my baby. They did everything in the room. My hospital was very small. There was only 10 labor and delivery rooms, and it was amazing. I had an amazing experience. That pain was just not what I expected, and I have a high pain tolerance. So maybe next time I'll just go in and directly get the epidural, not wait till she's coming out. Or who knows, I might do it natural again. I already did it once, might as well do it again.